Look around you. Just look around you. Have you worked out what we're looking for? Correct. The answer is MIT Rowing Club.
Tom, and welcome to MIT Rowing Club. I'm the head coxswain here, and I'll be introducing this video today to give you a step-by-step instruction on how to cox a boat safely and quickly. So I want to introduce Annie, one of our relatively recent coxswain to our MIT Rowing Club. So,
Hello.
how have you enjoyed coxing at MIT?
I love it. It's really fun. It's definitely always an adventure. So you always can anticipate the unexpected
And
in a good way.
can you give some advice to coxswains as to what to wear or what to bring when they come to coxing?
I would definitely bring a hat, a pair of sunglasses. Make sure that you layer up because you're going to just be sitting for a little bit. So definitely dress warm, and I like to wear slippers.
Well, we're going to watch you continue coxing and look at those very important essential equipment. So here we have our rack of outerwear for our coxswains to use, especially in windy, wet and stormy weather, because you don't want to be cold as the coxswain. And allow me to demonstrate how to wear one safely. So you put your right arm through the right sleeve, and then you slide your left arm to the left sleeve. And now you're all set to go out and face the cold. So here comes Lily. She's interested in coxing for our rowing club, but she doesn't have much experience here. So let's see how she puts on our coat here. So this is not the appropriate way for coxswains to wear because, as you can see, this is going to hamper her visual ability on the river as to see where she's going. This is our drinking fountain at the MIT Rowing Club. It is essential for coxswains to be well hydrated so their voice is at their optimal volume whilst coxing. Allow me to demonstrate how to drink safely out of the fountain. First, you press on the button, and then you slowly lower your head down without hitting the fountain, like so. And try not to splash. So, in this part of the series, we'll talk about our cox boxes. And this is the rack where our cox boxes reside. And you can think of our cox boxes like elements in the periodic table. And the fastest and the heaviest ones are in the bottom right corner here. So these are the cox boxes we use. And I want to demonstrate to you that this is the charger cable, which connects to the cox box and charge it. And the number on the top right is how many percent the battery is charged. And when it comes to charging the cox boxes, it's very important to make sure the plug is all the way in. So when you push the plug in, you want to make sure the arrow is facing the top so that it slides in the slot. And you want to make sure that it plugs all the way in so that the screen lights up when it's charging. And the microphone and the headset is connected to the cox boxes as well. And you can detach it like so and reconnect it like here. And you do not want to use the cox boxes outside of these two columns because they're booby traps. Over here we have our toolbox, and in the first drawer we have some tool bags, which are important in deterrent manatees in the River Charles. Otherwise, you're at risk of capsizing. So this is a very essential tape, which the rowers like to use on their hands. And these are some tools for fighting off manatees if you ever have to encounter them. And if for whatever reason your lights are not working, there are also spare lights in the drawers here. And make sure the suction cups are wet before you put them on the boat. And then there are spare batteries inside as well.
Yes. All right. Are we good? Hands on. Roll it out. Put one arm over. And bring it to the edge. Let's have starboards under. And pick it up. Walk it out. Roll the metal things in. And up the shoulders, ready and up. Walk forward. Low in the stern.
Inside of the Boston dock, close to the edge, roll to highways and roll, down on the water and down. Ports get oarlocks, starboard get oars.
Very jarring.
You want to say a few words, Andy?
So this is our upcoming president of the MIT Rowing Club.
Yeah.
And he's going to be demonstrating how to be a good coxswain today.
I'll try.
So talk us through what you're doing right now, Andy.
So we just got the boat to onto the water. So the Boston side of the Boston dock is preferred usually because the rest of the way is clear. And then usually have the boats to get oarlocks, which is just open up the oarlocks on the riggers for their partners, and you tell the other half to get oars. Yeah, and then people have to adjust the foot stretcher, adjust the height of their oarlocks, and usually they'll stand up by their seats when they're done, and when everybody stood up, and then you tell them to get in the boat. And what I will do is I'll tell half of them get in the boat, the other half hold the boat, because the boat will shift around, and then vice versa.
So Andy, could you show us how to turn on the stern light, otherwise known as slide?
Right, so here's the stern light. Just press and hold it down, and it'll turn on. And then it's also important to turn on the bow light. And make sure the red side is on your port side and the green side is on the starboard side.
And a good way to remember that is the color of port is red, so you want the red on port side.
Tell people to get in the boat, you always tell the side to the water to ship out their oars first. So port, ship out your oars. To keep the boat more stable. Starboard's holding, port's 1 foot in, and in. Port's holding, starboard's 1 foot in, and in. And then coxswain
Watch your head, Andrew.
Coxswain getting last.
show us how to plug in the cox box there, Andy?
Nothing to it. So there's kind of a half circle shape here, and you see there's a half circle shape in your plug as well. Usually there's a knob on the top, but maybe not this one. Once you plug it in, turn it on. Oh, Bao, can you hear me? Bao, can you hear me? So you ask the Bao if they can hear you, and if they can, then that's good. Alright, anything else?
Alright, can you hear me in back? Oh, okay, great. Alright, how about now? Cool. Alright, can I get a countdown from Bow when ready?
And then once you finish that, let's just throw by the 6s or a little bit. I'll call you right up after we get this. 7, 8. So just
Alright, let's zoom away and walk it down.
In this part of the series, we'll talk about steering, which is a very important job of the coxswain. And on the bottom of each boat, there is a rudder at the back. And the coxswain has 2 ropes on either side that he can control the rudder with. And if you were to move your right hand forward when you have your hand on the ropes, you can see that the rudder changes direction there. And that would turn the boat towards starboard. And as you can imagine, the more you push forward, the faster the boat will turn starboard. And over time, you'll get a feel for the boat as to how much change in the rudder you need to adjust the direction of the turn. And the faster the boat is moving, the smaller the adjustment you need to make in the rudder for the same amount of turn in direction. And when in doubt, try to minimize the use of the rudder to avoid zigzagging along the course and slowing the boat down. The other alternative in turning the boat is to ask rowers to use different pressures. So for example, if you ask the port side to row with more pressure and the starboard side to row with less, that will help turn the boat to starboard as well. And if you have to make a sharp turn, you can ask starboard to hold water and to have port side rowing only, and that can help you make 180-degree turns. The coxswain is the most important person in the boat, and there are 3 priorities on the water for the coxswain. They are number 1, safety, number 2, steering, number 3, speech. In terms of safety on the water, you, the coxswain, are in control of the boat and are responsible for the safety of the boat. If you feel that a course of action is unsafe, even if asked by a crew member or a coach, you should not take it. You should insist that rowers submit to your orders. You should only turn in safe locations where you are visible to other crews and you can see other boats around you. When launching and landing from MIT Boathouse, you should stay in the MIT lane, which runs from Pierce Boathouse to the Hyatt Hotel. The river is divided into 3 imaginary lanes. Stay within the 3rd part of the river closest to shore. And the slowest traffic should be closer to shore, with the overtaking boats on their port side. You should be aware of what's going on around you and your position on the river. If you're approaching a slower moving boat ahead or a slow moving launch ahead, you can slow down by either dropping out pairs or going to pause drills, and wait for the boat ahead to move closer to shore before you overtake. You must always overtake only on their port side, and you should only overtake if you have enough room to do so without crossing over to the wrong side of the river. Avoid overtaking under a narrow bridge. If you feel there's not enough room ahead to overtake, you should hold back. And similarly, if there are boats behind you trying to overtake you, you should move closely to shore, allowing them to pass safely. If you have to slow down for any reason, you should make sure there are no boats approaching from behind you unexpectedly. And you can talk to your stroke about what's going on behind you. You should move to starboard to let other boats pass you, and feel free to communicate with other coxers and scullers about what you're doing. For example, to let them know, heads up. Be aware of your blind spots where the stroke seat. And know the river traffic patterns. We generally take the right-hand arch through the different bridges, except BU, Weeks, and Elliott bridges. Be aware of the Union Lane. When in doubt, often the safest action to do would be to stop rowing and stop the boat. For gentle deceleration of the boat, you can command the rowers, weigh enough, and drop your blades. If you need to decelerate the boat quicker, you can say, weigh enough, and check it down. And in case of emergency, for sudden deceleration, you can say, weigh enough, and hold water now. The next priority for the coxswain is steering. If you're new to coxing, concentrate on safety and steering. Do not worry about commanding the rowers the speech, because that will come with time. In terms of the mechanics of steering, you have 2 ropes on either side with a wooden toggle on it. So to turn towards starboard, you should move your right hand forward away from you, and vice versa. You will notice a delay between the rudder string movement and the boat response. The faster the boat, the faster the rudder will respond, and the slower the boat, the slower the rudder will respond. So you may need more adjustment on the steering ropes. And you can also ask the crew to help steer the boat, for example, having one side row harder than the other. In terms of the strategies behind steering, try to steer a straight course because this will be the shortest distance and therefore the quickest. So here you can see the boat is coming at the dock at a slight angle. And you can see there's only stern pair rowing now, so you want to go very slowly. And you want to stop rowing about 15 to 20 meters away from the dock. And the idea is that you drift the boat slowly into the dock. And you can use either bow seat or number 2 to help steer the boat as well. Leaving and landing at the dock is the most dangerous part of rowing, and that's where capsizings can happen, so it's important to take care. See how beautifully Andy has coxed this boat into the dock. Make sure there's someone on the dock to help pull the oars in. Now that they've landed at the dock, the coxswain has asked the rowers to number off when they're ready to get out of the boat. So the coxswain knows when it's safe and all the rowers are ready to get out.
About 2, 3, 4, 5.
And because the coxswain is the most important, he's going to be the first to get out of the boat.
Getting out.
ports holding. Starboard's 1 foot out. And out. Starboard's holding. Port's 1 foot out. And out. And port's via oarlock. Starboard's via oars.
So the starboard rowers are going to take the oars to the side, and the port rowers are going to secure the oarlocks. And in a moment, we'll see how what the instructions are in terms of getting the boat back into the boathouse and onto the rats. It's important to make sure the lights are switched off at the end so that we don't run out of their batteries.
Up highways and up and overhead and up. Switch your shoulder as you come up the docks. Bow side swing towards Cambridge.
Those you can't take it off and put it on again like a regular like necktie. You go, oh, it's perfect now. Slip it out, you know.
Right.
So one time I was like, it was perfect, but I hadn't put my shirt on it. It was delicious.